for sure, dude.
No, I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where like I really liked it a lot in high
Yeah.
school because it was like the shonen of our youth is not gory like that.
No, I mean, yeah, I mean, for our youth, it was the big three, and all of those are like, super teen, cartoony in that aspect of, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, I guess all of them have some like darker themes in them, but as far as like the actual like
Well,
maturity with like the
thematically, sure.
violence it's very toned down.
But in terms of like 80s shonen, which is
Yeah.
like JoJo and all that
JoJo,
stuff's
Fist of the
super
North
gory.
Star, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all gory
Mm.
stuff. And I remember just being so fascinated with Fist of the North Star in high school because it was like, oh man, this is like classic
Yeah.
animation. People are exploding. I love kung fu movies. That's all just kung
It's
fu
all kung
shit,
fu shit, yeah.
you know. So, but you watch like 10 episodes and you kind of like, okay,
I kind of know where
new,
this is going.
yeah, a new heavy shows up. Kentaro makes you pokes you 5 times, and the guy's like, blah, 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 and then he explodes randomly.
Yeah, it's
And it's
kind of
kind of
like
like, all right,
the. I mean, obviously it came out later, but it's kind of like the One Punch Man like curse to it, where it's
yeah,
like the main
yeah,
character's like so OP that like gets to a point where it's like, what can you really do to like push him? And I think that's the problem that I had with like One Punch Man, which I've heard them. I think Trash Face talk about it when they did their manga episode, but it's like the manga is still really really good, but I don't know. I watched like the second season of the show, and I was just like, the first season is like such a high, not even just like the animation, but like for Saitama as like a character in general, like he just is pushed to his absolute limit as a character, like in that, like as much as like he could possibly be pushed being One Punch Man. It's like I don't even know like where you could go like battle wise from that.
yeah.
And I feel like that's probably a similar problem that like Fist of the North, because that, unlike you, I really have no connection with Fist of the North Star outside of like the general anime knowledge of like knowing what it is and
Yeah,
like who Kenshiro is and like the you're already dead and watching a guy explode.
right.
Like that's my basic knowledge of Fist of the North Star. So I'm excited to get into it, to actually like see what the original story is. But I really have no context with it outside of the general knowledge and what I've played with the
I,
video
I,
game, which
I,
I think the video game
I
has like
never,
nothing to do with the manga.
I never finished it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like, I remember there was like Rao or like a sequel series or a prequel series that
Mm.
came out when we were in high school, and like I just know that it was popular, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that I wanted to check it out because it was gory.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, I never fucking didn't fall in love with it.
Right.
It was the same reaction I had when I first saw Berserk, which was
Yeah.
like, I don't. I mean, obviously, it's not Berserk's not a shonen, but the point of like, it's one of those anime manga where like it all comes back around at some point. Like, hey, have you you've seen Berserk?
Yeah.
It always
Yeah.
happens, right? Because or I remember in high school being like, oh, have you seen Elfen Lied? It's like always like the same kind of shit. Like, oh, hey man, this is the edgy
It's
ass
the
thing.
edgy
You like
shit.
this?
Yeah. What was it? I think for
Or
me it
school
was. Did
days.
you watch Tokyo Ghoul? And I think that was the one for like when I was like really watching it. That was like the super edgy one. But
Okay. So yeah, I remember being in high school. It was like, oh, did you watch School Days? And
yeah.
School Days is fucking crazy. I remember being like, I don't fucking care. I don't care about any of this
Yeah.
stuff. I want to watch Ichigo, like do poses and then
I
like
want to watch
get a
Ichigo
bigger
pull out a
sword.
giant ass sword and cut some demon in
Yeah,
half.
that's all I care
Yeah.
about. So, hey guys, welcome to Check the Vending Machines. This is a weekly pop culture podcast where two best friends get together, talk about pop culture stuff. I'm Jason. That's Zach. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Just getting the weekly doses of pop culture goodness. It's been kind of after the high that we were on last week after the Matrix
Hmm.
trailer dropped. This has been kind of a bit of a slower week. Not too much has been going on. Kind of chilling out a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't really I haven't really been watching much this week at all.
Well, I
Um,
watched almost nothing because I finally. I mean, I guess this is something we probably get more into in a wrap-up episode, but I finally beat Persona 5 Royal after like
oh
more than
yeah,
100 hours of playing that fucking game. Which is super good. I like it a lot, and I'll probably talk about it more in our wrap up. But yeah, I really hadn't been playing or I'm watching anything else really because I've just been trying to bulldoze my way through like the last part of that game. So
Well, it's like I told you, we mentioned last week, so I won't get too much into it, but
Mhm.
I tried to watch Tokyo
Yeah,
Revengers, but it's only on
yeah.
dub, and I'm just inherently not a fan of anime when it's dubbed, unless it's Dragon Ball Z. That's
I
kind
think
of really the only
Dragon
thing I
Ball
watch.
and I can't remember if I've watched it too much, but I feel like One Piece is also one where I like. I feel like I like the dub a little bit better just because that's what I grew up with.
See, I didn't get into One Piece until I was in high school,
Mm.
so at that point I was just reading the
I just
manga.
remember watching it on Four
Um,
Kids because I remember the rap.
oh, I remember the rap
Yeah.
too. I remember seeing it as a kid, being like, "This is stupid. This is dumb." But even when I was a kid, I didn't really watch anime like that.
hmm
I didn't really get into anime until I was in high school, middle school, high school. Because
I
the
don't
only
think
thing
I
I watched,
understood what anime was until like middle school, high school.
well, the only thing I watched was Naruto
I didn't even watch Naruto
until I
until
was in
high
high
school. I
school.
think the only thing I watched before then was like Pokemon, Digimon, and then Dragon Ball Z. I think was like the only other one really.
Well, I remember when I was in middle school, I read Naruto because I had the U.S. Shonen Jump,
hmm
and I remember reading it and being like, "Man, this is some hot shit." And then we're like getting they started releasing the actual
hmm
volumes, or at least I just noticed them, and then I got those and was super into those. Um, but I didn't get into watching a lot of anime until like I don't know '07 or
Yeah.
something. And then at that point, I'm like just watching because I had a podcast then too.
hmm
I had an anime podcast with our friends at the time, so I had to watch stuff every
Right.
week for the podcast. And like I didn't care about any of it. I couldn't tell you a single show that I remembered now.
Yeah.
You know, half the time I tried watching all of it, but most of the time I didn't finish it.
hmm
And now I know like it's how I know I wasn't really a huge anime fan because I just don't remember.
Yeah.
I remember like Black,
Darker Than Black.
Dark. I remember Darker Than Black. I like that show a lot. I remember Blood Brothers.
Mm.
That's what it's called. Blood
hmm
Brothers. Black Blood Brothers.
I think it's Blood. I think it's. I don't. I've never watched that one, but I think it's Blood Brothers.
The vampire
Yeah.
one. I watched Trigun.
Trigun is the shit, dude.
I like Trigun a lot. Um, I watched Samurai Champloo.
Okay.
Didn't really. It was fine.
Yeah.
Music was good.
I mean, it's. Uh, I don't know. I know it's for a lot of people. It's like they either like. It's always
Bebop.
the top stuff between Bebop or Shampoo, but
Yeah.
I feel like I always like Bebop more, just because I like the space western stuff more than like the samurai stuff. But
Samurai.
hip
Yeah.
hop samurai.
I mean, I would. I think that I would like Bebop a
Yeah.
lot, except for the fact that it's like not a full story.
Well, there's definitely a full story in it, but I think a lot of the stuff in between is much more episodic. Like, there's definitely like a beginning and an ending to like Spike's story for sure. Um,
And it's weird too because if it was a live action,
mhm,
not saying that not about the new one coming out,
right.
but like I love Law and Order.
hmm
I love Columbo. I love these serials that are episodic type
Yeah.
things. But when it comes to like an anime, for some reason I want an arc. I'm just used to reading an arc.
Yeah, I think it's also as far as like manga and anime is concerned, it's really like the preferred storytelling method where it's all based around long spanning arcs that take multiple chapters or multiple episodes. That's like the big thing. And that's like the standard practice. And I mean, I guess it's the same with like American comics too. Like really American comics, there's not a
Yeah.
lot of one shots. They go through, they're not their arcs usually aren't as long as manga arcs, but or anime arcs, but they take a couple of
Well,
issues to do whatever.
they don't got enough. They don't have enough issues in a year to do it.
No,
Could you imagine like reading a Spider-Man arc that was 3 years long,
good lord, kill myself.
like one story? Like if you're not reading issue, if you're behind, you're
Yeah.
fucked. You know.
Yeah, I think it's probably
Um,
the distribution method for American comics too. Yeah, because you know, well, hold on. Is Jump the only one that's weekly, or is all manga?
no, I think a lot of them are.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I know. I mean, I know a lot of Jump stuff is like. Although I think we've talked about this before, but you know, with Jump Plus and everything, it seems like even Jump has started to turn a little bit away from making everything weekly. You know, with Kaiju and Spy Family and all this
Yeah.
stuff, where they're trying to get into a little bit more of like.
Well, you know
Yeah.
the main book will never not be weekly.
Yeah, that's true.
You
But some
know,
of their biggest
it just
stories
makes
is
too
stuff
much
that's
money.
not in their book. Like Kaiju and Spy
Yeah,
Family and even Chainsaw Man, those were all stuff that were not published in their book. That was all stuff that was just online only.
yeah, but then you have stuff like Demon Slayer, which is the number one selling thing.
Yeah, but
You know,
Demon
so
Slayer's
or
over now.
right, but like you have stuff like that where they're never gonna
Yeah,
be
I
like,
mean, you got and My Hero Academia's, you know, still weekly and all that stuff.
yeah.
So
So they're never gonna change that format because one, obviously, if I would want to can read it weekly, that's a nice little routine to
yeah,
have. Could you imagine like knowing that every whatever day, Monday, whatever day it is, I don't know
you can
what day
go
it
to
is.
the conveni and
You
pick
can
up
go
Jump. Yeah,
anywhere. Go to fucking 7-Eleven and buy it.
pick up your magazine and get all your weeklies for that day.
Yeah, that's
That'd be
rad.
super. I mean, it's a much better way to consume comics in and of itself. Just instead of having to buy individual issues, you just get one jumbo-sized omnibus that has all the different chapters for that week.
Yeah. If Marvel and DC said fuck it, we're gonna do that.
Dude, first of all, they couldn't do it because they have too many fucking books.
No.
It'd be like huge
Well,
fucking.
also they couldn't because the industry is so
Well,
bloated.
that too, yeah.
You know, you have to pay a inker, and you have to pay a letterer, and pay
Yeah, it's
this
definitely.
penciler, and pay all that
Yeah,
stuff.
the coloring and the heaviness of the pages definitely would make it a lot harder.
But I mean, I would rather have it not be a monthly
Yeah.
book
Well, they tried to do that with
because
something, didn't they? They had a Batman series that was supposed to be weekly or something like that.
well, Batman in general is every 2 weeks,
Well, I think they tried. I don't remember when it was. I think it was
twice
a
a month.
couple of years ago now. But there was like a specific Batman title that they came out with, and when they announced it, they were like, "This is going to be a weekly Batman series." I don't remember if it was like long. I knew it wasn't like. I think it was like Batman short stories or something like that. Like it wasn't like an official, like Detective
Hmm.
Comics or like Batman or whatever.
Yeah.
It was like its own thing, but I remember the hook for it was that it was going to be a weekly issue that you could do.
Well, I know a lot of comic book people are moving over to something called Substack. I think is what it's
I
called.
don't think I've heard of that.
They're getting like deals to go like put their books, the creator owned books over at this website or whatever.
Like comic
Because
creators or just comic fans?
yeah, comic creators, yeah, because they're not making money at the big two.
Yeah, no. I mean, that's the biggest thing is, you know, outside of the comic pros or whatever, like the actual like big names, like a lot of the other people, yeah, are not making money, and the comics in general are just not selling as well. So
Well, and this is not trying to get like comic book fucking douchey, but we're gonna see it really in the next phase of Marvel universe because
mhm.
if they're going to bring up the Ironheart character
Yeah,
real soon, and so they're gonna redo her book. Always they always do that. They always bring in the new number one. Shang-Chi, if does it have a new number one, I would be surprised.
if he doesn't have
But
a ser or an issue out already, I'd be or not an issue,
well, I would assume that
whatever.
a week before it came out, issue number one comes
Yeah.
out. Because he had a little mini series a few months, like 8 months ago. He had like a little
Okay.
5 issue mini series, something like that. But the point being, like, it's not a full run series. It's not continuing.
Yeah.
Now if they redo it, okay, let's see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Because Marvel is quick to renumber something and give it a chance. DC too, obviously, just in general.
Yeah, they both
But they don't.
become really quick in recent years of just wiping their
Well,
whole slates.
people are more inclined to buy number one,
Yeah.
so you get a little jump of sales, but that doesn't mean there's new readers. And if like Ironheart, I don't know anything about the character. I don't know shit about the character. But the point being that like they're gonna introduce her in the Marvel universe for TV or whatever, in the movies or something. And they at this point, Marvel knows this. They just don't ever say it, and DC does too. But Marvel specifically, movie viewers does not translate
to
to
comic
comic book
yeah.
buyers. They don't. They're two different breeds of people.
Yeah.
Now, there's going to be some crossover. Someone's going to watch Civil War and want to go read what it's based off
Yeah.
of. For absolutely, that's why they put the trade out, obviously. But how often does that happen? Much
Not
less
that
than
often.
they act like. Because you have books like Captain Marvel or books like Squirrel Girl that get canceled.
Yeah.
And the show gets canceled. It's like, you know, Miss Marvel does like sells like shit, gets canceled like twice. It's like,
But they still fucking push all those characters to the fucking forefront of all their shit.
Yeah, that's fine, but when the books don't sell,
Yeah.
like if the books that sell are Captain America and Spider-Man and X-Men, like
Iron Man, right? Or does
you.
he not sell? I don't even know.
I mean, I think after Iron Man, I think after the MCU, he started selling a lot more, obviously. But like, what's the point of killing Tony?
Yeah.
That's why they bring him back. That's why they always bring him back.
Yeah, wasn't that whole thing with Ironheart was that Tony was dead or some shit, or he was like an AI or something like that? I thought
something like that, but they always bring him back. They always find a way.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce Wayne's dead from a fucking magic bullet. We'll bring him back.
That's the Superman problem, where it's like you kill Superman off, and it's like, okay, well now what do we do? Oh, now we got to bring Superman back, and that started that whole fiasco.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, hey guys. This week.
Yes.
We postponed it from last week, so we're doubling up.
I actually like that we doubled it up. Honestly, with these two movies.
I agree.
Which we'll get into more later, but we're doing the first two films in the Daniel Craig Bond series, Casino Royale, 2000. Oh, hold on, I had it pulled up. 2006.
06, 08, 06
and 08. 06 and 08, Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace. And these are movies that, first of all, right off the bat, going on to the fact that I like that they paired so well, they're one of the few groupings of movies that are directly connected together. Bond movies, they usually are not. Most Bond movies are not direct sequels to the movies that came before them. They all just take place with the same character and same characters and like same, universe, world building and all that kind of stuff. But they're usually not direct emotional arcs between or story arcs between, different movies. And this is actually one of the few where, especially Bond in general as a character, his emotional journey starts in Casino Royale and does not really come to a conclusion until the end of Quantum of Solace. So,
yeah. I real quick before we start and on that, I saw a Facebook article or an article posted on Facebook from Daniel Craig, and I guess the quote was like something about how he was like getting teary-eyed or something about filming his last scenes as Bond.
But he hates being James Bond.
But I was like, how many times in the last fucking 15 years have we heard you fucking bitch?
Yeah, have we bitched and moaned and complained about the fact that he hates playing James Bond?
Bitch, this is you would be a nobody.
Yeah.
If you didn't get fucking this movie, you would be a nobody.
Did he do Layer Cake before or after Bond?
I think I would assume that got him the job.
I mean, I want to double check, but
I bet Layer Cake was 04.
No, he did Layer Cake before.
Yeah.
2004.
What year?
Okay.
Yeah, I was 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
Fuck it, my guessing is pristine. Because here's how it is, right? Layer Cake comes out 04. He gets picked for the job 05. They film 05, comes out 06. Perfect. Fucking perfect timing. So, I want to ask you this before we started on this.
Yeah.
I don't know if we covered it last time we watched the Bond movie, but since we're doing
I can't remember
this now, I will ask this question.
Okay.
What was your history with Bond when Casino Royale came out? Were you a viewer? Did you grow up watching the movies? Did you have any sort of like apprehension to the way they were shooting it? If you were a fan before, what was Bond for you at the time of you watching Casino Royale?
Bond for me was, I didn't have a huge history with it. I had the Pierce Brosnan movies that I'd watched. But other than that, I really didn't have too much history with like any of the others. Like I don't think I'd ever like I think I knew that Sean Connery was Bond, but like I knew nothing about like Roger Moore or any of the other guys,
Yeah.
Timothy Dalton, like any of those other Bonds. Like I knew nothing about them. I knew about playing the video game. I think that was one of the biggest things was not GoldenEye, but it was a PS2 Bond game that also had like a really good multiplayer that like me and my cousins would play all the time. So like I knew characters from that video game, but I had no idea like story wise or movie
Yeah.
wise like what those characters came from. I just knew that like they were in this video game and they looked really cool. Um,
Yeah.
that was like my big connection. And then with Casino Royale, I think we talked about this before, but I don't know if can't remember now. But like I watched this movie like I don't remember exactly where it was, but I watched it with like my dad and my uncle. Like we went to the theater and like all watched Casino Royale together. And I was like, hell yeah, this is like the shit. And then looking back at it now, I'm like, I don't know why my dad took me to watch this movie because this is not knowing my parents. This is not the type of movie that I feel like they would have allowed me. I can't remember exact 2006, so I was in middle school. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why the fuck he took me to watch this movie.
No, you were like you in 8th grade.
Yeah, they were just like. I guess my dad didn't really care as much. It's more my mom, um, but they were very much like the, you know, they weren't your parents. Let's say that they wouldn't let me like watch RoboCop
Christian
or anything
parents.
like that. They were very like
Yeah.
careful about like the ratings for movies and video games and stuff like that.
Yeah, your parents are from the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No. That was my life. Honestly, if anything, it would be vice versa. It'd be like my dad would look at the ratings, go, "No gore,
Pass.
you can't watch this movie. Only watch gory movies."
Yeah.
You can watch two things, Jason: shitty action movies from the video store or RoboCop-esque movies. That's all you can watch. I remember as a kid, my dad taking me to see the last two Brosnan movies. Or at least the last one for sure. I remember specifically.
Is that the Halle Berry one?
Yeah, I believe so. I've seen those movies once.
I've seen that one
because they
once.
suck.
Because yeah, I don't like that one. I like GoldenEye is the best Brosnan one, and then
yeah, I don't even know why he took me to see that movie. I think maybe I was interested in it because I played GoldenEye a ton.
Probably, yeah.
And maybe that's why I was like, saying that's why he took me to go see it. Or maybe he wanted to see it. I don't know. Because I didn't grow up with him really caring about Bond.
Yeah.
So I never had a affinity for it. But I remember he was deployed one time. And I was like, hey, Dad, I really want to watch James Bond. So he brought me back, like, bootlegged, like, Dr. No, and, like, stuff like that. And I remember putting it in the VCR. And the opening scene, like, this is fucking boring. Because for a kid who is used to watching, like, you know, Blood Fist or, like, Bloodsport, you know, old Bond is so slow.
Yeah, it really doesn't, action-wise, it doesn't really pick up until, I guess the Brosnan ones aren't that bad, but I mean, as far as, like, actual, like, legit action movies, it'd probably be like the Daniel Craig ones.
They're adventure movies.
Yeah.
Spy movies, the gadgets and stuff, and then whatever. So when Casino Royale came out, I didn't see it in theaters because I had no interest in it. Because I saw it in a hotel room with my family was traveling somewhere. I don't know where we were going, but I saw it in a hotel room. My dad, you buy it on hotel. So my dad and I watched it around like a fucking 14-inch fucking, you know, what was it called? CRT TV.
Oh yeah.
In the hotel room, like on a twin-size bed. We sat there on the edge of the bed watching this movie, and it's like a terrible way to first view this movie. So I really didn't watch it till like a couple years later, where I was able to like use the internet to find a way as to watch the movie. So that's kind of my first really experience with Bond, really.
Okay.
Because before this, my dad was I'm gonna guess. I don't know about your family. My dad is American.
Yes.
Right? My dad was in the military. But that's a gun guy. My dad's an American man.
Oh yeah, my dad's American for sure. He's a big gun guy.
And he is if you had to tell him to pick between James Bond
Mm-hmm.
and goddamn Jason Bourne,
Yeah, my dad was a big Jason Bourne fan for sure.
my house, my dad would watch Bourne Identity and fucking Bourne. What's it called?
Supremacy.
Supremacy.
Yeah.
He every time it's on TV, watching
Yeah.
it. I've seen that fucking bank scene
Yeah.
so many goddamn times. You know what I
When he
mean?
walks into the bank, yeah.
Yeah, I've seen the bank scene and I've seen the sniper scene at later in the movie.
Oh yeah, the
towards
sniper
end
scene's a good scene.
with Clive
Yeah.
Owen. I've seen both those scenes so fucking many times because of my dad watching.
We
TV.
watched it on our own podcast when we did our Bourne Identity episode. Check that out if you haven't seen it yet, guys.
So, how having rewatched Casino Royale, I'm assuming for the first time in a while.
It's never been a couple years. Probably since Skyfall, which was a long time ago. That's like 5 years ago. So
2012.
yeah, so longer than that, like 10 years
Longer
ago.
than that.
So yeah, it's been
Almost
a
10 years
while
ago, yeah.
since I've watched Casino Royale.
Yeah. How do you feel?
I still like it a lot. I don't think it's my favorite Craig movie, but I think it's definitely like one of the better ones.
I mean, of the four.
I think this is one of those movies, for a Bond movie in particular, and there are a couple of them that do this, and I think it always ends up not working as well, but the first 3/4 of the movie are really, really solid, and I like it a lot. Yeah. And then there's that 1/4 that's like the falling action epilogue that is not as good. And I really like
Casino Royale.
Fall asleep in that portion.
Casino Royale really, and I've seen it probably 4 times in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I always forget how herky jerky that ending is.
It's very
so
strange.
Really shitty. Like really, they did a good job at fucking it up.
Yeah.
Because it's paced really well. There's like twists and turns and some tension building, and then we're gonna depress some of the tension. But then it all wraps up really, really fast and unsatisfactory.
Yeah.
Which is kind of ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I guess for people who don't know, spoilers at this point, but like once the chief dies, it's very.
Well, even his death, it's like, oh, well, yeah. Out of nowhere.
I mean, that's basically the start of it. The script has a lot of whiplash of going back and forth between different things that are happening, and there's a lot of late story revelations that like don't make a lot of sense, and like especially rewatching it, it feels like they're just spoon fed to you. Like there's not clues within the story for you to kind of have guessed where this was going. It just is kind of tossed in your face. Like normally I feel like a lot of Bond movies in particular have a lot of hints and clues so you can kind of suss out what's going on. And this movie has it for like the first, 3/4 of it, I think is really well constructed and I like it a lot. But that back half is just, it feels like, I don't know what they were trying to do with it, but the script is just it's not as solid.
No, and honestly, to me, it felt like they had one person write that first 3/4.
Yeah. It definitely feels like a different movie at that point.
And that person said, fuck it, I'm gone.
Like, at
and they're
one
like,
point, it feels like there's like 3 different epilogues in this epilogue, which is the real problem that it has. Because you have like the initial thing with like after Lashif, and then you've got like the wrap up with him in the hospital, and then you've got the stuff with like him and Vesper in Italy, and they're like doing their thing, and you think that, and then they like fucking twist it around, and they're like, oh no, actually.
Also, they're real quick. They said he's like he's been living with her for like a few months, right?
They say a few months, yeah. Well, no.
So he quits.
Hold on. Well, they say he was he was in the hospital for like a while. I don't know exactly how long they were actually.
But ultimately, he quits being at MI6.
Eventually, right? I don't know why it took so long, but yeah, eventually he like sends his resignation letter. Right. But then literally the next day, all the shit goes down.
Well, I'm not even worried about that because that's just movie logic. My reasoning is, you were a fucking 00 for a week
Yeah, he's 00 for like less than a year. Like
You know,
it, in
Jesus
the structure of the
Christ.
story, he like basically just got his 00 status.
Yeah. So you tell me you worked your whole life to get
Yeah.
this. You were the SAS for however long to do all this stuff. You did all this stuff to get the 00 status, and then you just give it up.
Yeah.
Just be married and still be a 00. What the
Yeah,
fuck you
I don't
talking about?
know why he's like, I can't be a 00 and do this. I know they give the line that he's like, he gives the Black Little line where he's like, I've got so much red on my ledger, basically. Where he's
Yeah,
like,
you
I
were a
don't know,
fucking
he says something, and
soldier.
he's like, if you do this much killing, he's like not gonna have a soul or something. I was like, you've been killing a bunch of people so far. I don't know why all of a sudden you have like this
Yeah.
conscience about your soul.
Your whole life, and also they never touch on that really ever again.
Oh, that he like has. Well, the only reason he really has misgivings about killing is because he wants to be with Vesper, and yeah, after that, he
Yeah,
doesn't really want to be with anybody like that anymore.
yeah, but it's kind of like, but why do you even feel that way for her? But
But
who
yeah, that's
fucking
also
cares?
that's another thing where it's like in the context of the movie, he's known her for like 3 days, and he's
Two
like, "You're
days,
the love of
yeah,
my life. I'm gonna give up everything for you." It's very
yeah, it's like
strange.
some Romeo and Juliet
Yeah,
shit. I really really like the black and white opening
I
sequence,
think it's super solid.
but honestly, coupled with the intro chase,
Well,
yo,
it's strange because rewatching it, I always forget about the black and white scenes because I always feel like the opening chase
starts
when they're in
there.
Haiti,
Yeah,
I always feel like that's the start of the movie, and then I always forget that he
yeah,
actually has
yeah,
to get his 00 status in the beginning.
yeah,
So they have like, because yeah, it's definitely weird. They have basically like two intro action sequences with like him killing the guy in the bathroom, and then he's got this other big giant parkour chase, which is super fucking
yeah.
rad. But like, it's another thing like with the ending where it just feels like there's a lot of whiplash and like a lot of stop starting going on.
Completely agree. And it's also just long.
It's a long ass
It's a
chase, yeah.
long. It's a long. Those two scenes together, even with in the middle
Yeah.
part, it's a long little bit of stuff to get to the movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's like,
and obviously the chase is
really
part of that, but
honestly, like outside of even the chase, it just feels like because the chase is long, but you really don't really even get anything of the plot until like I feel like I don't know exactly time wise, but I feel like it's like 50 minutes into the movie where he's like actually on the chain with Vesper and he's like doing the Lashif thing. Because then
yeah,
you've got the chase that's super long. Then he's also got like all the bullshit shit on the desert island when he's like he's like playing cards against the guy to like steal his car so he can make out with his chick so that she can fucking die. So that he can like
yeah,
do the terrorist bombing, which is also really fucking long. That the entire like airplane sequence is like
yeah.
super long and extended. This like giant ass chase that they're going
It,
throughout this
it, it
airport.
literally felt like the screenwriter and whoever did
Yeah,
revisions watched Bourne Identity and went, okay, he can do a lot of
yeah,
stuff, so Bond has to do a lot of stuff.
yeah,
So we're gonna make him do a lot of stuff too.
yeah. It definitely
Because
feels like
Bourne does a lot
It
of
definitely
shit.
feels like there's a lot of influence of like the Bourne
Well, just the
series.
way just the way they shoot fights.
Yeah,
It's the exact same
I didn't
way.
notice it as much in the first movie, but I definitely noticed it a lot in the second one where there's a lot of edits going
Oh,
on.
terrible,
Especially
terrible.
not to jump ahead too much, but like in the second one, you've got the intro action scene where, not the car chase. Well, the car chase has a lot of edits too, but like the initial action chase, which starts off with another chase with the double agent or whatever, and that one was like there were certain points in that where it's like I don't know if it's the editing or it's the camera work, but I could not tell what was going on.
Yeah. Also, like, why did I was watching when I was watching Quantum of Solace? I was like, dude, just James Bond, stop climbing up stuff.
Yeah, he climbs up a lot of stuff.
You can't like nothing works out for you when you climb up stuff.
All you do is fall down. So
Yeah, stop. Just don't. Just stay
yeah.
level. Um, I do want to say though, speaking about Quantum of
Mm.
Solace, it used to be my least favorite movie.
Rewatching it,
Now,
I don't mind it. I definitely think it's still weak. Um, but you can go ahead with what you're saying, and I'll finish up my thought.
I honestly I almost view it as Casino Royale Part Two.
Yeah, I mean, I I think yeah, going back to like us pairing these movies together, it really feels like it just feels like it just completes the whole, at least James Bond wise, like it completes the whole arc, and then you got all the Mr.
Yeah,
White stuff. There's just too many connections to Casino Royale.
because it when I remember seeing it in theaters, I just didn't remember anything
Yeah.
from Royale,
Hmm.
so it just didn't. None of it made sense to
Yeah.
me. And having watched them within a week of each
Hmm.
other, to me it almost like serves Quantum of Solace better to be watched right
I think
after
for sure, yeah.
Casino Royale, or else you're gonna like by itself, standing alone, it's still the worst of the movies.
Yeah, I would agree with
But when you watch it in close relation to Casino Royale, then it's enhanced by the fact that you
that.
know. I mean, if also you just know Bond lore really really well and you care a lot, then maybe it wouldn't matter when you watch
Maybe.
it. But like on its own, 2 years later in a theater, I remember being like, I don't fucking care. I don't fucking care about Vesper. I
Yeah,
don't care about any of
I think
this.
that was definitely because I don't think I definitely didn't watch Quantum of Solace in theater, but I definitely remember when I watched it. It'd been a while since I watched Casino Royale, and yeah, it the problem with this movie, yeah, is that it relies so much on the context of what happened in Casino Royale that like if you don't remember what happens in that movie, you're fucked. You're like I don't even know
Yeah.
why. Like why does he care about any of this stuff? Like what is going on? Like the interaction sequence makes no sense because that's a direct
Yeah.
continuation of the end of Casino Royale.
Yeah, but I do. I after so I'm talking about Quantum of Solace
Yeah.
now. Um, I do like a lot because I've seen it recently. I watched Casino and Quantum of Solace within the last
Yeah.
year. But I didn't watch Skyfall. I just watched those two for some reason. I didn't watch Spectre, but I liked even when I was rewatching them a while back. There are some really cool scenes in Quantum of Solace.
Yeah, there's some good stuff. Like I don't mind everything. I think one of the things that I thought while watching it, and I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think this movie and a lot of Bond movies in general, the strength of the Bond movie really depends on the antagonist for that movie, for sure. Like I think
Oh
Casino
yeah,
Royale is so good because even though the ending's kind of shitty, Mads Mikkelsen as Le Chiffre is so goddamn good. He really
yeah,
carries away. He really carries that story segment of the movie so much. And I think one of the reasons I dislike this one so much is that the main guy, Green, is like a
forgettable.
nothing of a character for me. I really
Yeah,
don't
he's
care about
forgettable.
him at all. And for me, James Bond movies really, and this one also, it feels almost like Green takes a backseat because it really ends up being more about Quantum. And that's another failure of it too, is like, I feel like when Bond movies lean too heavily into like the secret society, like Splinter Cell
Mm-hmm.
organization stuff. I don't know. I feel like those kind of storytellings for Bond movies are like not as strong. I think the best Bond movies just have really really strong antagonist for Bond to go up against. I think those are really some of the best
Yeah,
ones.
I can't even remember. Is Quantum Spectre
I think from what I remember,
or
I
is
think
Quantum its own
Quantum ends up
thing
being
and
like
Mr. White
absorbed
is a
by
part of
Spectre.
Spectre?
I think Quantum ends up being like absorbed by it.
Because I was watching it, being like, okay, so is
Because it feels like
Quantum its
Quantum
own little
should be
thing?
Spectre.
Yeah, but when I was watching this, I was thinking like, okay, Quantum is his own little group of people who do
Yeah.
whatever, but Mr. White
Mm-hmm.
is a member of Spectre who's in Quantum to do stuff for Spectre.
Oh, dude, I don't know.
That's what I
I
thought.
watched Spectre like
But
one time. Like I have no clue.
yeah, I've only seen it once. I'm gonna Google it. Is Quantum a part? Is part of Spectre?
Okay.
Here we go. Someone's already asking. Hold on. Is
You're not the only
a
one that's confused.
part? Okay, here we go. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, it is ultimately revealed in 2015 film Spectre that Quantum is merely a division of the much larger organization Spectre.
But that's just it's
So
another one of those things where it's just like I feel like the secret society stuff it just gets too much into the weeds because if you watch Quantum of Solace, like Quantum's this big fucking group, so then you go into Spectre and like this big fucking group is like only a small portion of an even bigger group. It just doesn't. It just feels like the J.J.
Yeah.
Abrams shit where you just got to make shit bigger.
Well, good thing, and next month we get the same thing. We get the same problem.
Oh, you mean when we get to Spectre? Yeah.
Well, talk about when we get to fucking No
Oh,
Time
No
to Die.
Time to Die. Well, that one is like I don't know. I mean, they've definitely got the stuff with Christoph Waltz, but it feels like Rami Malek's kind of his own thing. That's what I'm hoping.
You don't think he's gonna be? You don't think he's gonna be a part of Spectre?
I don't think so.
Why would they bring back Christoph Waltz then? Right?
Because they want to have some connection to Spectre. I don't know.
I bet it'd be like, hey, he was a part of us. We need you to help us catch him, Hannibal Lecter style.
I don't know. Well, it seemed like
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't get the whole conversation from the trailer, but it seemed like for Christoph Waltz, he was saying something about the chick that Bond has the hots for in No Time to Die. So that's kind of why he shows up. Something about her in particular.
The black chick?
No, the white chick.
The white
I can't
chick,
remember what her
the girl from Spectre.
Yeah, I can't remember what the actress's name is, but yeah, it's her.
I can't remember either.
And it feels like he has
honestly
something
though,
about her.
dude, having rewatched these two recently, and this is going off of just feeling.
Okay.
Because I haven't rewatched these movies in a while. If I was going to go to the direct competition, I would still pick Bourne for the three Bourne. I haven't seen the last one, but just for the first three Bourne movies, I would still pick those are better.
Bourne's not good. I watched that one like in theater, and I was like, this is not good.
I haven't seen that. But Bourne, Identity, Supremacy, Ultimatum.
Yeah.
I would rather watch those more than any of these Bond movies. Any day of the week. And not because it's because I'm American. It's because in the action it's just as shit. The way they film it. It's just as terrible. It's the originator of the terrible. It's that I think that inherently the character of Bourne is more fun to watch because he's a pacifist. Who just happens to be a fucking
I think that's probably one of the weirdest things in the Craig movies for sure is that like, and I guess the Brosnan movies kind of had it too, but it feels like more jacked up in these movies where it's like, it feels weird that James Bond is a secret agent, but then he basically like goes to cities around the world and becomes like a fucking bulldozer.
Yeah. Well, it's the thing that if you ever look up online or on YouTube, like Le Carre talking about like Fleming and Bond, and like a lot of the things he says is like because Le Carre worked for MI6, and it's like why would a spy like why would he tell you his name? You know, like what he's a spy.
Well, they have that bit in what was it in Casino Royale where he does that where he like has a code name and he's like fuck it I'm James Bond.
Yeah, but Le Chiffre knows.
He's like everybody knows. I'm like well that doesn't mean you should just drop your fucking code name. What if they don't know? You're just assuming they know.
Like, why the fuck in Quantum of Solace does David Harbour know his name?
Well, I assume that he just knows all
name.
the MI6 agents.
No, just have fake names for your fucking roster,
well,
guys.
That's true. Well, that too, yeah. It's weird in their actual roster that they, like, have...
Why would you have your real name listed so they can... to arrive
well, they have code names. Why are they not just all 00 whatever? Like, they have the 00 thing. Why is that just not in the register? Why do you have to have, like, an actual name?
I mean, look, if the fucking U.S. Army can remove Mark Webb's name to make him Jason Bourne in every database across the world,
Ghost.
and then also remove his memory, like remove like the filters of his mind. Obviously, the boat may have his memory, but like remove the filters to like whatever. Obviously, it's two different universes, but my point being like, when what's his name? I can't remember his name.
Jeffrey Wright.
The author of Bourne.
Fleming?
No, Bourne.
Oh, I can't remember who did Bourne.
Gosh, I'm trying to remember his name.
Is it like
I can't remember his fucking name.
I can't remember. Hold on.
Give me the letter when you find it. This is the game we play every week.
Oh, R.
Last name's R?
No, first name's R.
What's the last name?
L.
Robert Lundgren.
Yep.
So I just the context of the character was, in the books, he's not just he's fighting. He's trying to catch a real life terrorist in the book. So it's like at least some. And it's all based on like somewhat real, like MK Ultra esque programs.
Yeah.
You know, but even in the movies, the character of this is not pocket's not about comparing it to obviously, but like my point being like Bourne hides. No one knows who Bourne is. He's the better spy.
Yeah.
He's the better assassin. Right? Whereas Bond in Quantum of Solace runs through a fucking lobby. Why would the fuck? Hold on. Why the fuck would Bond? I'm gonna answer my own question, but also ask why. Why the fuck would Bond just let your enemies know over the radio that you're there? And I know he did it so he can take pictures of them, but just, hey, it's still not worth it.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It's not worth it in the long run.
It's also weird that he gives it away and like 5 seconds later, the bad guys are there. And I'm like, you didn't know he was on the line until he said something. Yeah. How are you guys, like, you guys fucking like Goku instant transmission over to where
and then run through a cafe and start shooting in the middle. You're a spy.
Yeah, well, that's the problem. I mean, I'm willing to forgive it in this movie at least, because I mean, they basically go on the assumption that like he basically is not being a spy in this movie. He's just a bulldozer because he just wants to kill whoever killed. He wants to kill the people responsible for Vester, and he's kind of unhinged. So I'm willing to forgive it in this movie at least. But like even in Casino Royale, like he's fucking getting chewed out by M in the first 10 minutes because he blew up the consulate.
Both of these movies, M keeps being like, "Can you not kill somebody? Can you not kill them? Like you're depressed. You're
it's like
mad,
the running joke
rageful.
in Quantum of Solace that he's like, oh, that person's a dead end. She's like, I fucking killed him.
The whole movie, she's like, you're full of rage. You're mad. But none of that comes across to me.
That he's mad?
As he's mad. I watched the movie I watched the movie at 5 o'clock today, and none of it made me feel like he's mad.
Yeah,
because to me,
I don't know. I feel like I could see the anger that he was having.
To me, if you're gonna try to convey that he's unhinged, one of those guys he's killing, he has to like really fucking like beat the fuck up.
Mm.
Because he's just like shooting guys one time and they're dead.
He has that one fight with the guy in the hotel room, at least. He like stabs him in the neck with a pen or whatever.
It's just a hand-to-hand fight. It's just a hand-to-hand fight. You know, that's just a fucking Bourne Supremacy book fight or whatever the fuck, right? So like, to convey to me, cause I didn't even feel like he was unhinged at all. Like, okay, he's just a spy killing people. He's an assassin. Okay, he's doing his job. The idea of like, if he's unhinged, I want him to like throw people off like the balcony. Right, because even when they say, "Oh, you shot the guy," he didn't shoot them.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I know I get the whole thing where it's like, yeah, they basically like set him up to take the fall or whatever. But yeah, it's like he's not unhinged where he's like going around shooting people, and then yeah, like
because he didn't even kill the guy.
No, he just threw him off and he landed on a car. Yeah.
Because if he was unhinged, he would shoot the guy in the face.
Too, where it's like they say that and he like did nothing to like try to defend himself. He wasn't like I didn't shoot that guy. Like, even if they're like, well, you have no proof, he's like, well, look, he didn't even, like, try to defend himself, so that was also...
Because, like, I mean, unhinged would be like, you get in the fucking car with the machine guns and you fucking shoot up people with the machine gun car. That's unhinged. Unhinged is like I saw the devil slicing off the guy's Achilles tendon. That's unhinged. Nothing that Bond does in this movie, that M keeps saying, like, you're mad, you're full of rage, nothing he is doing is different from the first movie. Or the third or fourth movie. He's doing the same shit. So none of it, to me, conveys that he's angry. Even at the end, when he doesn't kill the guy, it doesn't really feel like anything to me because he's not really angry the whole movie. He's not crying. He's not pissed. He's not punching the wall. He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
He's not displaying that emotion well enough to me to feel like he's actually mad. Because if he was actually mad, he'd be like putting guns in. He'd be like, no, he's John Wicking it, where John Wick is like, he's not really mad about his dog. He's mad about his wife, but the character himself is calm and cool, and that's the character, right? He's determined, he's poised, and that's why he's dangerous. But M keeps being like, Bond, you are full of anger, and that's why you're good at being your job. But he's not doing that. I just see him doing calm-headed James Bond stuff.
I guess the reasoning would be that I guess for me, the thing that you can imply would be the fact that he keeps disobeying the orders and killing people when he probably is in opportunities where he wouldn't have to necessarily kill people, uh, would be kind of leaning towards the like, not necessarily unhinged, but definitely like the anger of like not wanting to obey orders because keeping these people alive. I don't know. I don't know
But see,
exactly what
but
I'm trying to
even
go through, but
because I know I get what you're saying, but even in that scenario, what you're talking about, every time that he kills someone, it's a fight for his life. So of course he's gonna kill them, right?
yeah,
Every time he kills someone, it's because he. In the time when he's not fighting for his life, the guy on the rooftop, he doesn't kill him.
yeah, that's true.
He just throws him off. He throws him off the roof. So now, to me, if he's unhinged and he wanted to display that he's has internal anger over Vesper's death and betrayal, then he will walk into the room and their guns are still in their pockets and he just fucking blows them all away. That's like you're angry, you're pissed, you felt betrayal, you're trying to figure this out. Not wait until they try to kill you and then you kill them out of no. Your job is to go find this mission. To me, they don't really do that well enough, so I don't really care at the end of the movie when he's like, M's like, "Are you good now?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm good," and drops the necklace. I don't fucking care because the whole movie you weren't displaying that emotion to me in the first place. You know, I didn't really care. Now, if he was like, again, like stabbing people, like think about any anime you've watched where the character is like hurt or lost, or like Naruto when Jiraiya dies, they physically show the difference of characters' abilities because they're dealing with grief. And you have to do that to portray that for it to matter, or else the ending doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
You know, like, and then the John Wick example is different because John Wick is naturally calm when he's doing his job.
Yeah.
So if his wife was alive, I would expect that they attacked his house, he would be less effective because he's trying to take care of his wife. So he's probably like not gonna want to kill them as much because his wife's there. You know what I mean? But his wife's gone, so he's like, well, fuck it, dude. Like I'm gonna go back to being John Wick,
Yeah.
and I want to be precise and pristine. I'm gonna kill everyone really easily. I mean, to me, that doesn't really portray, because if you when you watch Skyfall next week, it's the same fucking shit. He's doing the same exact stuff. He's just being Daniel Craig James Bond.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. That yeah, there's not really a distinct change in the exact actions that he's doing. Yeah. I mean, I think as far as like the unhinged part of like going in the room and like blowing people away, I guess as far as like writing the character, you probably don't, because that's kind of like it's outside of like being unhinged or not, that's kind of like a bad guy thing to do.
Oh,
And so
absolutely.
for him, I guess he's always supposed to, I mean, James Bond in particular is always kind of seen as like the eternal good guy. So for him to like, as a
But
character, no, I get
he's
where you're
also the
coming from. From like a
eternal.
writing aspect, he should just be, if especially if they're trying to portray him as angry, he should be. I mean, maybe you don't have to necessarily like go in there and just like shoot up an entire room full of people, but like he should
No,
definitely be like going into
beat the bad guys
somebody
up
and like
more.
beating the shit out of somebody for
Well,
like.
he's also like he's also the eternal rule breaker, right? So like that's Bond. So him breaking rules is not him being like him breaking rules is not in the first movie. He breaks rules to get to the island,
Yeah,
so it's not like he's like doing anything different. Bond, you're unhinged. You're breaking rules. That's my whole fucking character.
yeah,
Did you ever watch American Assassin with Dylan
yeah.
O'Brien
I
based
did.
on Mitch Flynn? So I love those books. The new one came out this week. I'm reading it right now on my phone. Mitch Rapp. It's a fantastic book
Mm.
series. The first book in that series is literally Metal Gear Solid in the White House. It is fucking fantastic, which basically means it is Escape from New York in the White House. It's amazing. And the main character, Mitch Rapp, he is better than Bond. He is better than fucking Jason Bourne. He is a superhero. He's the best.
Mm.
So in that movie and in the book too, American Assassin, which is a prequel to whatever, his girlfriend gets killed in a terrorist attack. Now in the movie it's different. In the
The
books
movie she
it's a
just gets
plane
shot
attack.
right by some.
Yeah, beach terrorist attack on a beach.
Yeah.
She gets killed. In the book, she's on a flight, the Pan Am flight. It goes down in a terrorist
Mm.
attack. Right. They express his anger in the way that he fights people
Mm.
over dealing with that. Whether it's Craig's inability to act or the director's choice to not have Bond do that, because writing wise, we get the circle. We get in terms of the writing, we get the full arc.
Yeah.
We just don't get it in the scenes, which really kind of ruins the ending for me.
I could see that. Yeah.
You know, and also
Yeah, because I would say
also
writing wise, the journey's definitely there. But yeah, I definitely could see.
Yeah.
As far as like the action scenes and like the storytelling within the fight scenes themselves,
the actual
it's
scenes.
not actually there. Yeah.
Because like if he's like, imagine like it's just an example. He's fighting someone hand to hand, and he does the Batman fight from the new Batman trailer, where in the trailer where Pattinson's beating the guy down.
Yeah.
Bond does that at some point in the movie, like just bloodies the guys up, right? Or he's unnecessarily hurting people, even if they're the CIA or they're MI6. He's beating them the fuck up to go complete his job.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, when M asks him, "Are you okay?" and he's calm and goes, "Yeah, we're good." That would be that's like a better character arc than just him being constant the entire time. Because not once does he falter or he's always the same.
Yeah.
At some point, he needs to be looking. Has that cliche scene where he's in the mirror, like he needs something like that to really make, to me at least, make it like a full character arc. Because right now it's like he's gonna have a second girlfriend at some point, and then she gonna get hurt. I don't fucking care because you didn't even care about the first one.
Yeah.
You didn't even care about Vesper. You don't give a shit. I mean.
Yeah,
you know?
that's fair.
So, but I mean, I do really think that I give Quantum of Solace more credit now than I did for a long time.
Yeah, I think rewatching it, I definitely don't like loathe it like I feel like I used to. I think it's a fine movie as long as you. I think the addendum of that is that you definitely have to watch it. Like if you're gonna watch this, you had to have watched Casino Royale pretty recently.
Yeah.
Because I think I think it definitely
agree.
loses something if you don't have that movie fresh in your mind.
Yeah, and I do want to say, which is not really related to this at all, but I do think now, in my fun spy guy movie ranking, this is now the third at level. This is number 3.
Okay.
And I do think that number 1, it has, and they're different movies, but number 1 has to be Ethan, right?
I mean, yeah, Ethan Hunt for sure.
Because obviously the half movies are very different. It's an action movie, adventure movie.
Yeah.
But even in terms of like storyline, like the Spectre of Mission Impossible is just cooler.
Yeah, I mean, well, you really didn't get the Spectre of Mission Impossible until what, like 6 or 5?
That's good.
Whatever.
Hey,
Rogue Nation started the Spectre.
Rogue Nation, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the Spectre and the Blofeld or whatever of the Mission Impossible universe is so much cooler. That villain is so dope.
Plus, they also do spy stuff.
Yeah. He does great spy stuff. Well, that is, for me, I mean, Mission Impossible has always been my favorite spy series of all time. And that's also like, I feel like Mission Impossible does like the gadget stuff better. Like the gadgets make sense. Like they don't have a bunch of weird ones like toothpaste that blows up or like some dumbass shit like that. Like they've got masks and they've got, you know, other just gadgets that just make sense.
Fingerprint.
Yeah, like the actual
stickies.
like spy gadgets that are like useful.
Yeah.
Not like gadgets that like the author does so he can like somehow shoehorn them into being useful later on. Where it's like, you know, if you look at most James Bond movies, that's also the weird thing about these movies in particular. Sorry, jumping around so much, but like Casino Royale feels so weird in Bond movies just in general because like not only are the direct sequels to each other, but they also are missing so much stuff that like typical James Bond movies have. Like they really just have Bond and M, that's it. But there's like no Moneypenny, no M, like there's no gadgets, there's no like scene where he like
no Q till the third.
There's no mission debriefing. Like in most Bond movies, he has like some sort of mission debriefing of like what he's doing, and like Casino Royale just like jumps you right into it, and then it's this one, it's just like, or we're just picking up where Casino Royale left off, or we're just like seeing where this conspiracy unfolds from there. So there's so structure-wise also, these movies all are like missing some of the things that like make Bond movies, which is like. In some ways, is good, I guess, because they're like trying to push the envelope and do different shit. But it just always, it feels weird to me always when I notice that like there's just no Q, and I'm like, where's Q? But then you also have those moments where it's like, you have the Q. Going back to what I was thinking about before, like you have those Q scenes, and he like puts out these like random assortment of gadgets that he like pulls out of his ass, and like out of the context of a James Bond movie, you would look at these gadgets and it's like, why the fuck are you giving me this shit? Like, what is any of this supposed to do? Like, why does any of this matter?
Yeah.
And then you somehow, in the context of the plot of whatever he's doing, somehow they end up being useful.
Well, you know, the thing too is that of like those three like spy characters, Bond is the most unrealistic.
Yeah,
because the reality is that Bourne in the universe that they built, Bourne is an assassin.
Yeah.
Right? He'll get in, steal information, and then kill. That's the whole job. Ethan isn't a killer.
Ethan's the guy who gets
he's
the
not a killer.
done.
Right? He does the spy antics.
Yeah.
He does spy stuff. Like he'll do the hacking and the stealing and the mission, the ocean stuff. He'll do that stuff. He does kill, but he's not a killer.
Yeah.
Right? Bourne's the killer. But for Bond, everything about the character is not spy.
No.
Even as a hitman for the government, they don't play it that way. They play it as though he's supposed to like be a spy, but he's not spying. He acts
more like
spying.
a hitman than he does a spy.
Like they just really want him to be Bourne. Yeah. But they still play him as though he can be Ethan. You can't. Why would you put a fucking spy whose name is out there and then give him a fucking very expensive car?
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It makes zero sense.
But it looks dope as fuck.
Oh, it completely does. It completely does. But the reality is that Jason Bourne lives in the fucking middle of Africa in a fucking hut, and that's how he survives.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I don't know. But hey, dude, is there anything else you want to say about either movie before we wrap
There is
up?
one last thing I wanted to say, which is that the opening songs, I was going to say this, I was thinking this at the start of the movie, and it's like, regardless of what you think about Quantum of Solace, the opening song is a fucking banger.
Yeah, Jack
White
right?
from the White Stripes with Alicia Keys, and then the first one you've got fucking Chris Krueger from, what's he from? It's not Nickelback. What the fuck is he?
No, isn't it Soundgarden?
Is he Soundgarden? I can't remember.
But it's Chris. Chris? What's his name?
I think it's Krueger, isn't it?
Cornell.
It's Chris Cornell,
right?
I don't know why I said Krueger.
From Soundgarden and Audioslave.
Yeah. Fucking killer opening songs. I love them.
So and Skyfall's Adele, and then Spectre is Sam Smith, right?
Spectre's Sam Smith, and then
Skyfall's Adele.
Yeah. And then the new one is Billie Eilish, right?
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see, because somehow these Bond movies, because I didn't really like Sam Smith when he did the Spectre stuff, or when they announced that he was going to do Spectre, and I listened to the song, I was like, it's not bad.
And because they don't write them.
Well,
they
that's
give
true.
it to them.
So we'll see.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they do
put out a decent Bond song because she doesn't write it. So.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Beats me.
Hey guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week with Skyfall. And then after that, Spectre. And then after that,
should be time for No Time to Die.
Should be time for No Time to Die.
No Time to Die.
Yeah,
that is the time that it is.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you back next week.
See you guys.
Check the vending machines.